Testing, 1, 2, 1, 2. Hello again. Welcome to another episode of As the Sports World Burns. My name is Tony Burns. Bringing you a few minutes of sports commentary using old school wisdom from a new school perspective. Or at least that is the plan. Hope everyone had a great 4th of July. Everyone's trying to stay cool with this intense July heat. We've just finished up 2-week dead period in South Arkansas for the high school sports. I took the last couple of days to take in some Wimbledon tennis action on the telly. Only get into tennis once or twice a year, to be honest with you. I like it, but it really depends on the personalities. If I see somebody that I can follow, get behind, Naomi Osaka, somebody like that, and that just kind of, it makes it easier for me to follow rather than just watching random people hit tennis balls across the net. And this year that was the case. Really enjoyed Wimbledon. Was particularly interested in the women's champion, young lady named Elena Rybakina. I'm not going to pretend I followed her career. This is really the first time I'd heard of her. Never really watched her play, but I kind of got sucked in by her story. This year, Wimbledon banned players from Russia and Belarus because of their involvement, because of those countries' involvement in the war on Ukraine. And as luck would have it for Wimbledon, Miss Rybakina plays for Kazakhstan, but was born in Moscow, Russia. So is a country that was banned for invading Ukraine. The champion is from Russia. She won the thing on Saturday. On Sunday, Russia quickly put out a press story claiming her as Russian. Talking about she was trained in Russia. And I'm basically saying, just kind of laughing, turning everything to a political thing. And, Russian won your tournament even though we were banned for it and all that kind of stuff. And so it's not really funny, but just kind of, I guess, karma. They shouldn't have banned the players anyway. Players can't. People in Russia aren't responsible for what Vladimir Putin does any more than people in the United States were responsible for Trump or Biden. To ban the players I thought was ridiculous, and I think it's hilarious that a Kazakhstan player from Russia won the tournament. They had to. The Duchess of Cambridge had to present the plate, the championship, to a Russian-born young lady. Fascinated by the kid. She's 23, I believe, 23 or 24 years old. She's not a child, but she handled it. First of all, she won the thing and had no celebration whatsoever. They usually jump up and down or fall on the grass or run into the stands or throw the racket or do something, start crying, drop to their knees. She had no reaction. And she just won it. She won it, smiled, went to the net to shake hands, and it wasn't until much, much later at the press conference where she actually showed some emotion. And part of that, I wonder if that had something to do with the whole situation of being a Russian in that situation, because it was that you could just tell it was, what's the word? Intense, I guess. She was trying her best not to become a political pawn. At the press conference, I watched watched the press conference, and this was after 2 or 3 hours of media, and then she went to the press conference, and of course, a member of the gotcha media quickly asked her the question, you know, we want to know your stance on the war. Do you condemn the war? And it's a sucky question, and I felt bad for her because it put her just in a no-win situation. And you could tell she panicked because she started after 2 hours of speaking pretty decent English. All of a sudden she says, "My English is not so good, so I'm not sure I understand your question," which was, she was just trying to get out of it. I don't blame her. There are many times I wish I could use that excuse as my English is not so good, but she ended up saying, you cannot help what country I'm born in, and all that. And they were insistent upon, do you condemn the war? We want to know, do you condemn the war? This young lady's parents still live in Moscow. If you learn nothing else from the Brittany Griner situation, you should learn this: that in Russia, they can arrest you for whatever, and they can keep you in jail for how long they want. She is not in a position to say anything against Russia. Okay, her parents still live there. She would like to see her parents again one day. And so for this journalist, if you want to call him that, to try to make her condemn the war. I mean, even if there was nothing if she had said, if she just nodded her head, affirmative, or she'd said yes, the headline would have been Russian-born player condemns Putin. That would have been a big headline. And her parents would have been in trouble. Or could have been. And so there's no way she could say that, even if she meant it. And so she just said, I think she said something about, we want peace and all that, but there's no way she could say I condemn the war. And I just think it sucks that we put these people in these positions, and we celebrate our freedom of speech in this country, but not every country has freedom of speech. There are plenty of countries where you could be punished very severely for what you say. And so to try to make these people from these other countries, adhere to our standards and our freedoms when they don't have those same freedoms, it's not fair. And it just bothers me to see that stuff. She's not, she plays for Kazakhstan. Basically, I believe it was because Russia did not have the money, or would not give her the money. Kazakhstan paid for a lot of her training, and so she's played for Kazakhstan since 2018. So it's not like she just started doing this yesterday. She played in the Olympics for Kazakhstan, and she's not the only one. Naomi Osaka is an American, but she plays for Japan. Sophia Kenin, who won the Australian Open, was born in Russia, but she plays for the United States. Aya Tomljanovic, another tennis player, born in Croatia, plays for Australia. So that's not, her playing for a different country than, having dual citizenship. At this point, it's not a big deal. And so for them to try to make her take a stand or whatever, it's just BS. And I hate seeing that kind of stuff. It's kind of typical of today's media. I applaud the young lady not only for winning the tournament, winning the biggest tournament in the world, but for handling herself much better than I could have in the same situation. So Elena Rybakina proved to be a winner on and off the court. So congratulations to her. Novak Djokovic won the men's title on Sunday, beat Nick Kyrgios. Djokovic is from Serbia. Kyrgios is from Australia, since we're doing the country thing right now. Not a big Djokovic fan. Didn't watch a lot of the men. I watched a bunch of the match today, but today's Sunday. I watched a bunch of the final. I did not watch much of it up until the final. But this is the tennis report for today. We'll conclude this with my top 5 female tennis players of all the times. And if you know me, you already know a couple of these. Number 5, Garbiñe Muguruza. Speaking of dual citizenship, she plays for Spain. One of her parents is from Spain. The other parents from Venezuela. But she plays for Spain. She's won Wimbledon. She's won the French Open. Not sure. She's in the slump right now. She's lost in the first round of the last couple of Grand Slams, but I like the way she carries herself. Big fan. Number 4, Monica Seles. Most people know she was on her way to being one of the all-time greats before she was stabbed in the back by a fan of Steffi Graf. Just one of the saddest stories in sports history. But when she played, she was absolutely incredible. Big fan of Monica Seles. Number 3, Venus Williams. My favorite Williams sister. Incredible athlete on the court, but the way she handled herself off the court and she was a groundbreaker in many ways for the women's tour. Broke some barriers. So big fan of Venus Williams at number 3. Number 2, Gabriela Sabatini. Obviously, she was a U.S. Open champion, but a very exotic-looking young woman. A huge fan. She was a fan. I was a fan of her when I was much younger. It was more of a never mind. Just leave it alone. Number 1, favorite tennis player of all time, Anna Kournikova from Russia. If you don't know her, go look at her video with Enrique Iglesias. You'll know why. Go look at her calendars. One of her calendars. Go Google her. You'll know why. Also a groundbreaker. She's one of the people who showed the women you can make money off the court if you marketed yourself right and put your assets to good use. You can make as much money off the court as you could on. Big fan of Kournikova. With that, I'm going to call it a day. Thank you so much for listening. As you were.